that's just one of the many conspiracy theories that she's pushed. She said a lot of other disgusting, vile things that I wouldn't even repeat on air, in particular about the Vice President Kamala Harris. And to think then that this is who Donald Trump is keeping in his inner circle is really concerning.
No question about it. What is appealing about her to him? Is it that she is complimenting him? Is it more than that?
I think that she's willing to defend anything that he says or does. And he likes that. She's the ultimate sycophant. And so I think that he likes that she'll defend him. She's clearly angling for some sort of job in the administration, I would imagine. Maybe she wants to be White House press secretary.
She's posted about that before.
And that is what is most concerning to me, because I've talked about this threat of who will be with Donald Trump if he is elected president again, who will be staffing a second administration. I like to think that during the first administration, you had people of good character who wanted to staff him and would push back on him. But in a second administration, you're going to get the Laura Loomers of the world who are in his ear, who are the ones helping run the country. I mean, to think that she would be in the White House potentially and serving in one of the most important roles. And
Donald Trump's open admiration for Laura Loomer made
conspiracy theories, and her job could potentially
Trump
be
has complimented
being the
her
spokesperson for the
over
president.
The past year.
It's terrifying. And so that is what, when I talk about the threat of a second Trump administration, this is the kind of thing we're referring to. And so it's not crazy to think that he's going to be surrounding himself with these crazy types of people who will be
every damn day we see another story about illegal aliens going to the Ritz-Carlton, illegal aliens getting free flights, illegal aliens getting free clothes and free cell phones. And I'm not going to care when it happens.
Who could end up having a very prominent role in a second Trump term. That's what we're looking at here.
Exactly. That's what we're looking at, is that this is the type of person who could potentially
Kamala Harris gets elected as president of the United States. We are going to have an Islamic caliphate in this country.
And it makes me nervous about what a potential staff for a second Trump term could look like, because when you think about the cabinet level, obviously there's the Senate confirmation process. There's a little bit there that he can't maybe put
press secretary during the Trump administration.
Okay,
Sarah, none of us are surprised anymore by a lot of things Trump does. But help us understand, he could pick whoever he wants. How somebody who is a conspiracy theorist, who's a 9/11 truther, who says all the things that we've been talking about in this show, goes from that
on him, and so you're
not
going to get
person to being on the plane to the debate and kind of in the unofficial inner circle
of Donald Trump no, or to tell him that you are the company you keep. And this just goes to show what his character and judgment is. If this is who he's choosing to surround himself with, you're going to get these people. I mean, Americans at home might not be familiar with Laura Loomer. She's not necessarily a mainstream name, but she is a fringe.
You have spoken out publicly,
and that is what is so scary. Is that now she has
everybody has not chosen to do that. There were a number of people, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lindsey Graham, who spoke out to about their concerns about memorial event last week. But at the same time, this week, Donald Trump was pushing conspiracy theories about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, and they seem to be either okay with that or unwilling to speak out about that. What do you make of that?
I mean, I think there isn't actually that much daylight between Laura Loomer and Donald Trump. And to think then that this is Donald Trump is, as you mentioned, in his inner Haitian immigrants really in Springfield. I'm from Ohio, so I take this story very personally.
And to think about her to him is it that she is complimenting him? Is it more than that?
Threats, and then when Donald Trump is willing to defend anything he doesn't say or does, we should stop political violence. This is unacceptable in this country. I think that we need to bring down the temperature, and she's clearly angling for some sort of job in the administration. I would imagine it's why she wants to be White House bipartisan immigration deal that was in Congress, because he wants to run on this issue and to rile up his supporters and to tap into people's fears with Donald Trump. And he's willing to spread lies about this. And J.D. Vance administration on air this morning on during the first administration, they created a story to try to get the media to care about this and push back on him. I don't know though if you're winning necessarily this election, Laura Loomer out there saying things like who are in his ear, the cats and dogs, the ones helping run the country. You're hanging out with Laura Loomer and tweeting, "I hate Taylor Swift." These are not the things that Americans care about. Serving Americans want to talk about healthcare. They want to talk about jobs. She's clearly a known liar. Being able to just conspiracy theories and food on their table and feed their families. And Donald Trump is not talking about these things. It's terrifying. And so that is what, when I talk about the threat of a second Trump administration, this is the kind of thing we're referring to.
Taylor Swift and Oprah Winfrey had one very big thing in common this week. They both used their platform to shine a light on a major issue. We're going to talk about that when we come right back.
And do whatever he pleases.
I mean, I just want to just stop on this for just a second, because you worked for him in the past, come out and spoken out against him, and you're saying, like, this is a person who I just introduced to people who didn't know her before. Some people may have known her before, who could end up having a very prominent role in a second Trump term. That's what we're looking at here.
Exactly. That's what we're looking There are people on his campaign.
I was watching your show this morning. You tackled this topic in a lot of different, very interesting ways.
Like the John
but while you were doing that,
the Mark Espers,
the Vice President of the United States was doing the rounds on. I'm sorry, the Vice President candidate J.D. Vance was doing the rounds, talking about this. I would like to just play you. He was asked about these baseless claims on NBC's Meet the Press. I know you guys ran that, but he was also asked about it on CNN.
You have spoken out publicly about Donald Trump, and you're concerned about him. Everybody has not chosen to do that. There were a number of people, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lindsey Graham, who spoke out about their concerns about Laura Loomer. But at the same time this week, Donald Trump was pushing conspiracy theories about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, and they seem to be either okay with that or unwilling to speak out about that. What do you make of that?
I mean, I think there isn't actually that much daylight between Laura Loomer and Donald Trump. Look, they both push racist conspiracy theories, as you mentioned, with the Haitian immigrants in Springfield. I'm from Ohio, so I take this story very personally.
And to think that this is a story that you created,
and hospitals are coming under bomb threats, and then when Donald Trump is asked about it, what does he say? He doesn't say, we should stop political violence. This is unacceptable in this country, and we need to bring down the temperature. Instead, he pours gasoline on the fire. Because this is exactly what he wants to do. It's why he killed the bipartisan immigration deal that was in Congress, because he wants to run on this issue and to rile up his supporters and to tap into people's fears.
What we're actually seeing play out in Ohio.
And is willing to spread lies about this. I mean, J.D. Vance even said on air this morning on another network that they created a story to try to get the media to care about this. And so I don't know, though, if you're winning necessarily this election when you're out there saying things like, they're eating the cats and dogs, and you're hanging out with Laura Loomer and tweeting, I hate Taylor Swift. These are not the things that Americans care about. Americans want to talk about health care. They want to talk about jobs. They want to talk about being able to afford groceries and put food on their table and feed their families. And Donald Trump is not talking about these things.
No question. Sarah Matthews, thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Coming up, beyond the obvious, Taylor Swift and Oprah Winfrey had one very big thing in common this week. They both used their platform to shine a light on a major issue. We're going to talk about that when we come right back.
La vie est faite pour les audacieux. Alors que tu sois un leader créatif, international, technoscientifique ou encore un leader athlète, viens voir tout ce que tu peux devenir à nos portes ouvertes du 29 septembre. Marcel Mallet, secondaire privé à Lévis, pour rêver, oser, accomplir.
You know, I'm so glad you're checking out EQ Bank. Free withdrawals at any ATM in Canada. Just think of all the money you're paying in ATM fees.
You get a bonus for referring a friend, don't you?
Maybe. Do you have my email?
I'll put the email in.
Put it in.
If getting totally embarrassed by Vice President Kamala Harris in front of more than 67 million debate watchers, by the way, this week, made Donald Trump furious, and you know that it did, it's pretty clear the rest of the week has only added to his rage. So let's just take a look at some of the things that are probably making Donald Trump very, very mad right now. I mean, just this morning, a Des Moines Register poll showed Harris cutting Trump's lead in Iowa, of all places, to just 4 points. Just to give you a sense of what that means, the same exact poll had Trump leading Joe Biden by 18 points in June. Trump won Iowa by about 9 points in 2016 and 2020. Hasn't been a swing state since 2008. Then last night at a Congressional Black Caucus dinner in Washington, Harris mocked Trump for his line in the debate about having, quote, concepts of a plan. A very mockable line. All week long, she filled stadiums with tens of thousands of people in crucial swing states like North Carolina and Pennsylvania. And she, of course, notched the endorsement of Taylor Swift, which is clearly still driving Trump nuts. If you happen to click over to Truth Social this morning, here's what you saw in all caps. I hate Taylor Swift. Clearly, it's not under his skin at all. I mean, that debate was so galvanizing for Harris and so embarrassing for Donald Trump that Karl Rove basically called Trump stupid in the editorial pages of the Wall Street Journal. So yes, Trump was embarrassed on Tuesday night, and he's been embarrassed every day since then. But in response, he isn't retooling his campaign team. He isn't planning a bus tour across the Midwest to connect with voters. Of course not. He's going back to the same xenophobic and racist playbook that he thinks won him the election in 2016. He's simply trying to appeal to his base with fear. Fear of immigrants, fear of Black and Latino communities, fear of basically anyone who doesn't look like him and his running mate, J.D. Vance. And the most dangerous step he has taken this week is doubling down on a claim debunked by the local police, the mayor, and even the Republican governor of Ohio, that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, are eating pets. It was a claim that originated with a Facebook post from one person who later disavowed it. But none of the facts matter to Trump. They never have. He prompted the explosion of this conspiracy theory himself by elevating it on the debate stage on Tuesday, later vowing mass deportation starting in Springfield, Ohio. The result of all this? A city being terrorized right now. If getting totally embarrassed by Vice President Kamala Harris in front of more than 67 million debate watchers, by the way, this week made Donald Trump furious, and you know that it did, it's pretty clear the rest of the week has only added to his rage. So let's just take a look at some of the things that are probably making Donald Trump very, very mad right now. I mean, just this morning, a Des Moines Register poll showed Harris cutting Trump's lead in Iowa, of all places, to just 4 points. Just to give you a sense of what that means, the same exact poll had Trump leading Joe Biden by 18 points in June. Trump won Iowa by about 9 points in 2016 and 2020. Hasn't been a swing state since 2008. Then last night at a Congressional Black Caucus dinner in Washington, Harris mocked Trump for his line in the debate about having, quote, concepts of a plan. A very mockable line. All week long, she filled stadiums with tens of thousands of people in crucial swing states like North Carolina and Pennsylvania. And she, of course, notched the endorsement of Taylor Swift, which is clearly still driving Trump nuts. If you happen to click over to Truth Social this morning, here's what you saw in all caps. I hate Taylor Swift. Clearly, it's not under his skin at all. I mean, that debate was so galvanizing for Harris and so embarrassing for Donald Trump that Karl Rove basically called Trump stupid in the editorial pages of the Wall Street Journal. So yes, Trump was embarrassed on Tuesday night, and he's been embarrassed every day since then. But in response, he isn't retooling his campaign team. He isn't planning a bus tour across the Midwest to connect with voters. Of course not. He's going back to the same xenophobic and racist playbook that he thinks won him the election in 2016. He's simply trying to appeal to his base with fear. Fear of immigrants, fear of Black and Latino communities, fear of basically anyone who doesn't look like him and his running mate, J.D. Vance. And the most dangerous step he has taken this week is doubling down on a claim debunked by the local police, the mayor, and even the Republican governor of Ohio, that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, are eating pets. It was a claim that originated with a Facebook post from one person who later disavowed it. But none of the facts matter to Trump. They never have. He prompted the explosion of this conspiracy theory himself by elevating it on the debate stage on Tuesday, later vowing mass deportation starting in Springfield, Ohio. The result of all this? A city being terrorized right now. Today, Wittenberg University in Springfield has been put on high alert after someone threatened to shoot Haitians on campus. Yesterday, a bomb threat forced 2 hospitals in the city to go into lockdown, and multiple schools and municipal buildings were evacuated or closed on both Thursday and Friday due to similar threats, at least one of which used hateful language toward Haitians. NBC News also reports that a neo-Nazi group, which pushed the false claim in the first place, is now doxing local residents and officials who have publicly spoken out. And surprise, surprise, Trump is doing absolutely nothing to calm things down. When asked yesterday if he denounced those bomb threats in Springfield, he definitely didn't say yes.
Did you denounce the bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio?
I don't know what happened with the bomb threats. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened. Springfield was this beautiful town, and now they're going through hell.
So when the question is, do you denounce bomb threats that are terrorizing an American city, the answer should be unambiguous. But of course, Trump's wasn't. And of course, in the next breath, he kept lying about Haitian migrants who were in this country legally. Look, we have seen this pattern before. Trump stoking conspiracy theories and then commenting on them as if he's some casual observer. He sets fire to the building, continues pouring gasoline all over it, and then wonders aloud about why it's burning. This is what he does. Just ask anyone who was in the Capitol on January 6th. So yes, Donald Trump may be a buffoon who was roundly ridiculed for his comments at the debate, but that does not make him any less dangerous. And I think Kamala Harris captured that dynamic perfectly all the way back at the Democratic convention.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Joining me now are 2 people who never hold back, who I know are going to have a lot of thoughts about all of this. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas and conservative attorney George Conway. Congresswoman, let me start with you. And I really want to start with Donald Trump's refusal to condemn the bomb threats. What was your reaction to that?
You know, my heart breaks that this election is close because this comes down to just some basic norms and principles of what we should see in leadership for the greatest country in the world. And it doesn't look like this. Yes, Springfield is going through hell, but they're going through hell because the guy that says that he wants to be the commander-in-chief is actually bringing that hell to their footsteps. He decided to amplify a lie on a national debate stage, and that is harming American citizens. That is a problem. When I talk about MAGA, I talk about the fact that when we swore in finally in January, that we swore to defend against those that are coming against us, whether they are domestic or international. And right now, I feel like MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. And we see it time and time again. And I think that's why you see so many national leaders, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, coming together to say there is only one person qualified to be the commander-in-chief, and that is Kamala Harris.
No question. There have been a lot of Republicans who have come out. A letter signed this morning by former people who worked for Ronald Reagan. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, and I want to talk about that too, but I want to ask you, George, I mean, you have been warning about this pattern, about stoking, about kind of feeding into conspiracies, about letting it sit out there and doing nothing to calm it. What has been your reaction as you watch the events of the last couple of days and the absolute terror that has been unleashed on the people of Springfield, Ohio as a result?
Well, I mean, it's what I've been saying for years is Donald Trump is a sociopath, and sociopaths lie relentlessly. They have no empathy or caring for other people. I mean, who answers the question? Who refuses to say that they condemn a bomb threat? A sociopath, a psychopath, somebody who has no care, no feeling for other people, and only cares about himself. And it's all about him. It's all about how he thinks he can spur people on into violence to support him. And, you know, he's just a dangerous person. And that is exactly why you're seeing conservatives like me and the 17 people from the Reagan administration and Liz Cheney and so many others speaking out and saying we can't have him back. because he's a danger. He's a danger even when he's not he's just a danger campaigning out there. He's causing all this trouble and riot and not rioting, but danger in Springfield, Ohio. I mean, that's what he does.
One of the things, and I mentioned this, and I would love both of your thoughts on it, is that this is a pattern, right? He loves to go after, and this is his playbook, communities that don't look like him. Yeah. He goes after Black communities, Latino communities, communities that have large numbers of immigrants. It is this fear-based approach. He's doing it in Aurora, Colorado as well. What should people understand and know about that? I mean, these are people's lives. Haitian families are keeping their kids inside. Schools are shut down. Hospitals are shut down. What should people know about that and the impact on communities? You see the communities impacted.
Yeah, no, listen, here's one of the things. Donald Trump loves to say things such as they're illegal, right? Every time he talks about an immigrant, he makes it seem as if they have done something nefarious. And it's not true. Just because they are immigrants does not mean that there's anything illegal about them. And what is so wild to me is that they never think about the fact that they literally have children of immigrants. Donald Trump is married to an immigrant as well as J.D. Vance. Your children are children of immigrants, and you are going out and attacking other immigrants every chance that you get. And honestly, again, it just comes down to basic decency in this country. I think the reason that you're seeing the polling that you see in Iowa is because people are waking up to the fact that we can't live this way. This can't be the guy that is supposed to protect us when it comes to people that are coming out against us. This is the same guy that could not say on that debate stage that he wanted Ukraine to win. He could not do that. This guy doesn't understand who our friends are, and he also doesn't understand who we are as a nation, which we are a country of immigrants. And the demonization of any group of people, whether it's Black folk and saying, you know what, we